What's the most terrifying confession you've ever heard? I woke up at 2 a.m. to the sound of my wife whispering to herself in the dark, and when I turned on the light, she was standing completely still in the corner of our bedroom, facing the wall. That was her first time sleepwalking, so I assumed it was a one-time thing, until it happened again, and again. One night it got so bad that she actually left the house. Well, you're not supposed to wake someone up while they're sleepwalking, so I followed her to try and lead her back into bed, but then she made a beeline towards the old boarded-up house next door, when, out of nowhere, she started crying her eyes out right in the front garden. I had no idea what to make of the situation, so I figured I'd just carry her to bed and go from there. But then she turned to face me, and with hollow glassy eyes repeated, "I'm sorry, I love you, I'm sorry, I love you," over and over, before passing out in my arms. That night, my priority was keeping her safe. But as soon as she was back in bed, I did some research on the house. Turns out, 10 years ago, the man had slipped from his rooftop and fell. The police never found evidence of someone in the house with him, so it was deemed as an accident. But as I read the articles, I noticed something. He died the same day that I proposed to my wife, which was also the same day my wife sleepwalked into his front garden. I thought back to before he died. He was a little weird and never left his house, so I simply never met him. I honestly just thought he had self-unalived or something, and I thought my wife felt the same way, but apparently not. Because the next day, I asked my wife if she remembered the day I proposed. For a split second, I saw a look of shock wash over her face, before she plastered on a huge smile and said, "Yes baby, of course I do." I wanted her to tell the truth by herself, but now I had to get it out of her. I asked her where she went after I proposed, because at the time she told me she left to run an errand, but now she was saying she had to call her mom. I mentioned how it was pretty weird our neighbor died that same day, and she immediately burst into tears, with the same guilty expression she had the night she was sleepwalking. My stomach twisted, and I knew I was about to find out something I didn't like. In the next 10 minutes, my wife confessed to having an ongoing affair with the guy next door, and when I proposed, she went over to his house to cut him off, but he didn't take it well. I was already done listening by that point, but then she continued and told me he tried to block the door and wouldn't let her leave, so she shoved past him, not noticing they were right beside an open window, and after one wrong step, he was gone. I rushed over to the kitchen sink to throw up, while my wife was having a panic attack. I had just spent 10 years married to a cheating murderer. We argued, and she refused to come clean to authorities, so I left, and am now staying with my mom. I want to report her, but there's still no evidence, and it's her word against mine. What should I do?